Hi guys, it's Ian from OSBFX. It is Friday the 17th of December 2021. It's 8:42 in the morning in the UK. Busy week with regards to national banks, which we talked about on Monday. We've seen some high volatility in not just the currencies but in stock indices, etc. I want to look at the single currency charts this morning, not really getting much drive and direction from those, but we will try and reflect that a little bit onto the FX majors and crosses. But then I want to highlight what we have seen this week and also potentially what we could see in the coming days ahead. So let's get to the single currency chart. So starting off with the dollar, going to the euro, sterling, Swiss, CAD, Oz, New Zealand, Japanese yen. Not going to spend too much time on these because there's not a lot to say really. This is the 1 hour chart as far as the dollar is concerned. I believe we're moving down in a 5-wave sequence. This looks like a small 4th wave wedge. So it's, I suppose, as far as Elliott wave is concerned, Elliott wave, we got some sort of pattern like this emerging, and that sort of highlights still downward pressure for the dollar. And obviously we've had this divergence in policy, especially between sterling and the US dollar over the last few days. So just looking at the dollar index, and these are our bespoke support and resistance levels. Okay, so really I've got nothing until around about 95 the figure, and if we get down to 95 the figure, then again we have potential for patterns to start emerging, and that would be an inside back formation. So at the moment the bias is to the downside, and I think that's quite important when we look at least sterling against the US dollar. Where are you? Seem to have lost sterling against the US dollar. It dropped off yesterday, that, which is really bizarre. Let's stick it on, and hopefully it's not gone for good, and the analysis needs to be redone. Let's have a look. No, here. So a higher dollar, sorry, a lower dollar and a higher sterling. And I think we've got the potential for this pattern to play out. I'm not playing this pattern to the upside. I'm going to wait till this pattern completes. So we've got a back formation here at 134.77, which is also my bespoke resistance level. So that's showing sort of the bias for the US dollar. But like I'm saying, they're not really giving out sort of great signals at the moment. And what we like to do is actually trade the patterns when they've completed at bespoke and support levels, not as they're forming, which we've talked about before. So the euro, again, mild bearish bias, but sort of it's really in no man's land at the moment with regards to bespoke support and resistance levels, and could quite easily break to the upside. So again, not really focusing on that one. But sterling, we've got bespoke, and this is a medium-term resistance level up here. So you can see that even if we do dip to the downside, I think that's going to be limited. We've got bespoke support here, and we'll push higher in sterling to reach this level, and then consider short sterling trades or moves. The Swiss franc, again, sort of in no man's land at the moment. There's potential for a move to the downside, but I want to be trading the completed pattern, which would be down here. I don't want to be trading the CD leg, but that's offering a bearish bias. And obviously, if sterling's offering a bullish bias and Swiss is offering a bearish bias, then we can start looking at cross currencies like sterling, Swiss, etc. But only if they are at bespoke support and resistance levels, which they're not at the moment. The Canadian dollar, again, bias to move to the downside. We've got a confluence area here with bespoke support levels. Aussie, and Aussie really is in no man's land. Been looking this morning, I don't like to try and force chart patterns, and there's nothing out there, and it's the same thing for the New Zealand dollar and Japanese yen. We had that move to the upside yesterday. I mean, potentially we've got these sort of patterns, these very positive patterns for yen, and of course we've got a barrage of support here, so it's offering a bias, but it's not offering a trade setup to actually try and sell or buy the basket at the moment. So that brings us back onto the currencies, and here you can see on the right hand side basically the red is initiated, red or blue are initiated trades, and amber, basically an amber light, so I'm getting ready to go, but I'm not quite there yet. So euro yen set up from yesterday, two bespoke resistance levels. There was a confluence area here to the upside, and we've formed a Gartley formation. The trigger level was actually quite low on this. It was at 129.19, and then the first out, and I've just highlighted it here, was obviously hitting bespoke support. So got short here, covered here. Now I have a stop just above where the trigger was. I'll grab something out of it. It won't be a great deal if it takes that out. And obviously we had the Bank of Japan out overnight. Didn't really move the market. I thought it's either going to be a boom or bust trade, and at the moment it's looking pretty subdued. But always sort of looking at the big picture and being aware of what other time frames are doing. And here, which is the 8-hour time frame, this could well be a reverse head and shoulders, so left shoulder, head, and then this coming down to form a right shoulder. So I don't want to be holding on to this sort of trade desperately. I want to be using money management to try and grab some out of it, move a stop to entry, and then hopefully get a bleeder. And this is sort of what I'm looking at as a bleeder on the weekly chart, with a potential to move all the way down here to form this inside bat formation. But you know, I'm trading off bespoke support and resistance levels, so if it happens, it'll be nice. If it doesn't, and that head and shoulders plays out, then at least I've banked something along the way. CAD Swiss, and again, this was off bespoke resistance levels. So here we've got a merger of fibs, so it's 261.8% and it's 88.6%, so that's at 75.50 and 75.51, so very tight, but bespoke resistance, and again the black line is medium term, just came in here, and I got a signal here to sell at 72.39. Obviously CAD Swiss, what is the spread on CAD Swiss at the moment? 5 ticks. So even though you've got your trigger here, you know, you're not actually getting into to down here, and then my first out was here. So again, covering the trade on the first out, and then moving stops in the hope that are going to continue to the downside. And again, you know, just plotting out other potential moves, this could well turn around and move to the upside. So again, I want to cover some of the trade, or some of the risk I want to cover, get some off, and then hopefully get a bleeder, because there's nothing to say really that this pattern's going to play out. It could well just move lower from the bespoke resistance level, which was what happened when we played sterling Swiss a while ago. I think it was 2-3 weeks ago now. We played a resistance level. I was looking for a pattern to form, and then the pattern just broke and it just continued to the downside. So it's really looking at the patterns, looking at the entry levels to get into a trade, money management to get out of some of the trade, and then hopefully trying to bleed the last unit, which is basically where you make the money. So euro yen, that's covered. CAD Swiss, that's covered. Let's have a look at these guys. So I've got amber lights on these. This is Euro New Zealand. So you can see we've hit this support, but we didn't have a pattern, and we're starting to move higher. So I've got a nice crab formation here, which is also medium-term resistance. So looking to sell on rallies in Euro New Zealand. Don't know if we're going to get there today, that's for sure. And again, sterling Swiss. Obviously that spike higher on the interest rate decision, then we've started to come lower. I think sterling will still gain strength, but here is my resistance level. And again, look, I've got two medium-term resistance and then long-term resistance here at a perfect Gartley, so 124.30. But again, patience needed. This is a 4-hour chart. I might not get into this today. New Zealand yen, and again, it's hit bespoke support to then move higher and hopefully hit bespoke resistance. But you've got to remember, I'm already short euro yen, so if this doesn't play out, then I'm quite happy as well, because it should drive euro yen lower if this continues to the downside. And you might say, well, surely if you've got a pattern up here, doesn't that mean that yen's going to weaken again? And then you get out your euro yen and trade this sterling yen, sorry, the New Zealand yen when it gets higher, possibly. But there's nothing to say, like I said before, that this isn't just like a double top formation and it continues to the downside and this pattern never forms. And then I've come out of one winning trade, which is covered, to then wait for another trade that might not get initiated. So again, if euro yen gets taken out, then there's a good chance I'm going to get a second chance with New Zealand yen. So I'm not particularly bothered at the moment. New Zealand dollar. And this could all just be New Zealand strength again. We've got a confluence area up here, and again, it's medium-term resistance, which I like to see. The short-term ones can be pretty short-lived. So we've got another formation. Again, it's another crab pattern located at 68.98. CAD yen. And this is actually a reverse. So obviously this would mean stronger yen as it moves down. So this is actually following, or hopefully following, euro yen to the downside. And then we've got this nice confluence area. This is a long-term and a medium-term bespoke support, and it would make I always forget what they are. Butterfly formation. I shouldn't forget the amount of time I've been plotting them, but so we've got a butterfly formation to the downside here, 86.83, 86.67, and this maybe is probably looking like Monday. And then the last but not least, I think it's last but not least, I thought I had this short-term one in somewhere. Swiss yen, this is it. Potential, but this has actually moved up. So again, I'm sort of looking at this thinking, is this going to come in? There's a Gartley pattern at 123.06, but this has actually moved to the upside. The bespoke resistance now at 123.15, so it doesn't really form a pattern, so I won't be taking that one. Okay, guys, so there's a bit going on. Single currency charts highlighting a mild bearish bias. Let's just go back to those actually, because some traders might want to take a bias off these. So mild bearish bias in the dollar, but still got a mild bearish bias in the euro, got a bullish bias in sterling, Swiss franc, a mild bearish bias, and dollar CAD, sorry, not dollar CAD, just CAD, a mild bearish bias, but a bearish bias to buy into. Okay, guys, good luck. If I'm not back again today, have a smashing weekend, and I'll try and post a video on Sunday. Many thanks. Bye for now.